Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the second part of the chapter, that is the 100 dresses part 1. Let us continue from the next part. The other girls of the school, they asked Vanda Petronsky, how many shoes did you say you had? First question they asked, how many dresses you have? And the answer given by Vanda was 100 dresses. All the girls started laughing. Next question was, how many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Vanda Petronsky said she has got 60 pairs of shoes, and all the shoes are kept in a line in a cupboard. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike means all the girls, they spoke together, means they cried out or they shouted and asked her, are all the shoes same? Are all the shoes of the same color, same type? That is called cries of exaggerated politeness. Greeted this. All the girls asked very loudly, oh no, all the shoes are same together. Then Vanda answered, oh no, every pair is different. All colors, all lined up. Vanda said she has got different pairs of different colors. All the shoes are not same. Peggy, who had thought of this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Now Peggy and Maddie, they both were always there to tease Vanda. But when all the girls used to go away, Peggy and Maddie used to stay with her till the last moment. Finally, Vanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Now, here we see that Vanda would move up to the street. She would leave these two girls and she would go alone further. Her eyes are dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then, means moving her shoulder left shoulder every time. And then the funny way she had, finishing the walk to close to school alone, means Vanda used to feel that these girls are making fun of her, but she never said anything bad in return. She used to leave this girl and she used to finish her walk to the school alone. She used to go to the school alone, leaving these two girls on the way in between. Peggy was not really cruel. Now, let us understand what is the nature of Peggy. We know that Peggy was the most adorable girl of the class. She was the one who used to start making fun of Vanda. But let us see what was her nature. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. Whenever she used to find small children or any child getting bullied by others, bullies means those who use their power or strength to frighten the weak people, means those who trouble other people. Peggy used to save them from getting bullied by the powerful people or the elder people in the school. And she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If any animal is mistreated, Peggy used to cry for hours. Means she could not bear anybody or she could not bear any animal being mistreated. If anybody could beat an animal or if anybody could tease animal, that was not being digested by Peggy. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Vanda, she would have been very surprised. Cruel. Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? Somebody if comes and tells her that, doesn't she think that it's a cruel way to treat Vanda like that? If anybody tells her that why does she trouble Vanda, she would have been very surprised. Peggy would be very much surprised. Why? Because she will give an answer. It is not cruel. Cruel. Why? It is not cruel to tease Peggy. Why? Because when Peggy or other girls, when they asked Vanda how much or how many dresses she had or she had, she told she had 100 dresses, and that's what Peggy did not like. Peggy says anybody could tell that that was a lie. When they asked Vanda how many dresses she had, she said that she had 100 dresses. That's what was not liked by Peggy. Peggy said that it was a lie. Why did she want to lie? Why did Vanda want to tell lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. Why did Vanda want to lie? And Vanda was not an ordinary girl. And why does she have such a name, Vanda Petronsky? Why she has got this kind of name? So these are few things as to why Peggy did not like her. That is why she used to tease her or make fun of her. But they never made her cry. They never knew whether she cried or not. It is her heart. It is Vanda's heart and soul that could say whether she used to cry or not. As for Maddie, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. Now, Peggy comes from a rich family, rich background, but Maddie is a girl who comes from a middle class family. And every day it was Maddie also who used to ask Vanda about how many dresses she had, how many shoes she had, how many hats she had, how many these, how many that. Everything was being asked by Maddie every day, and that was bothering Maddie. That was troubling Maddie now. Why? Because today Vanda is not in the class. That is why Maddie is feeling a little upset. She thinks that it is maybe because of her mistake. Vanda must have left the school. Maddie was a poor herself. Maddie comes from a very humble family, poor family. And she always used to wear clothes given by someone. That is somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Hand-me-down clothes means old clothes or the clothes which are given by someone, right? Somebody gives clothes to the poor people when they wear. Those clothes are called as hand-me-down clothes. So Maddie also poor family. She says, thank goodness she doesn't live in the Boggins Heights. Means she doesn't live in slum area. Boggins Heights was a place where all the poor people were living, including Vanda Petronsky. That is why Boggins Heights, the name when it was called in the school or at school or anywhere, people did not like to talk Vanda because she belonged to Boggins Heights. And even Maddie also feels good that she does not live in Boggins Heights or she doesn't have a funny name like Vanda Petronsky. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. So sometimes when Peggy used to ask Vanda questions which used to mock polite voice, which means when Peggy used to ask such questions which used to make other children, mock means smile. Meaning is given, mocking means false, meant to make fun. meant to make other people laugh. Means purposely when Peggy was asking her questions to make other people laugh, Maddie used to feel embarrassed. Maddie used to feel ashamed. Embarrassed means ashamed. Maddie did not like this, but Maddie could never speak to Peggy. Maddie could never say to Peggy to stop teasing or to stop making fun of Vanda. So whenever Peggy used to tease or whenever Peggy used to make fun of Vanda, Maddie used to feel ashamed, but she could not do anything. She used to count the marbles which were there in her palm, rolling them around and saying nothing. She had some marbles in her hand. She used to roll marbles in her hand but could not say anything to Peggy. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda. Exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy had not invented the dress game. So she not that she felt sorry for Vanda. She doesn't feel sorry for Vanda. She would never have paid attention to Vanda if Peggy had not invented the dress game. So Maddie says that it is because of Peggy who invented the idea of asking the question about how many dresses Vanda has. Because of Peggy, Maddie also became the part of teasing her. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Vanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. Now, finally, Maddie tries to collect her courage and she tries to say that if suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next, means if all her friends and Peggy would start asking questions to Maddie, she was not as poor as Vanda, but she was a poor girl. We have seen that Maddie also was coming from a poor family. But the difference was she was not living in Boggins Heights. But when these girls and Peggy would ask her the questions, if they start next on her, what she would do? Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. If the girls would ask Maddie the question that how many dresses she had, Maddie says that she has a sense that she will say whether she has 100 dresses or not. She has a sense to say whether she has 100 dresses or not. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Means before saying she had 100 dresses, she has a sense to say or she had a sense to give answer, what answer she should give if the girls ask her this question. She never will say that she has 100 dresses because children know that she also comes from a poor family. She also wears hand-me-down clothes. So she won't give such answer. Maddie, still she would not like for them to begin on her. She will not like her friends to start making fun of her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. So every time Maddie used to feel ashamed when Peggy used to make fun of Vanda. And at last, she started wishing, means she started praying that Peggy should stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Vanda. Today, as they are late for school, but Maddie feels very glad. Maddie feels very happy. Why? Because today they don't have the company of Vanda Petronsky, and so so that Maddie does not have to make fun of her. She feels happy that today Vanda is not there with them. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. Maddie did her mathematics absent-mindedly, means her attention was not towards her teaching, her studies. She was doing some sums, 8 times 8, let's see. But her mind was thinking about Vanda because Vanda was not present in the class. She was absent. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because She knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." So, as Maddie was doing her arithmetic problems, she wished that she should gather the nerve, or she should gather the courage to write a note or to write a small letter to Peggy and say that, "Peggy, hey Peg, now let us stop teasing Wanda. Let us stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." Means Maddie is trying to collect her courage. She's trying to get the courage to speak to Peggy because she doesn't have courage to speak to Peggy. So she thought at least she will write a note and she will talk to Peggy. Peggy, as you know, comes from a rich family. Maddie, poor family girl. So friendship is there between these two girls. Maddie cannot directly go and speak to her. That is why she thought she will write a letter because she doesn't have courage to speak to Peggy. So she decided that she will write a letter, a note to ask Peggy not to ask questions to Wanda. When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. After finishing her sums of mathematics, she started writing a note. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She stopped, shuddered, she moved. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. The moment she started writing the note, she stopped for a second, for a minute, and she started imagining that she pictured herself, means she imagined that she is standing in the school ground and she has become a new target for Peggy and the other girls. So far, Vanda was the girl of fun. All the girls and Peggy used to make fun of her in the school ground. Now, Maddie finds her to be at the place of Vanda. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimming so no one in room 13 would recognize it. So Maddie is trying to imagining that she's standing in the school ground. Peggy and all the girls have come there, and Peggy might ask her a question that how did she get the dress, or from where did she get that particular dress which she is wearing. And Maddie would say that it is Peggy's one of the old dress. It is Peggy's one of the old dresses that Maddie's mother had got from Peggy's home. And Maddie's mother tried to disguise it, tried to change it with some new trimmings or new design on the border so that nobody in room 13 could recognize that it is Peggy's dress. This is what Maddie is imagining over here about her place if she speaks or if she gets a courage to talk to Peggy, to stop asking her to stop teasing Wanda Petronsky.